Was there one defining maybe session, maybe one defining song that, that when you did find the way you work together, did find your sound?
Sound, yeah.
Or do you think it's an awful word, your sound?
No, I mean it's difficult to describe music, isn't it? It's difficult to describe.
No, but sometimes when you ask bands or maybe someone who plays the song, they say, well, that song, then I knew what sort of music I wanted to make, what makes the best of the three of us working together, was it?
Yeah, I would definitely, actually, I can tell you that moment was when we wrote Real, which is kind of one of our earlier singles. Just because the way we were making the music had changed, and like we bought loads of new technology, and Emre was producing a lot more, and we'd all started doing different things. And I wrote Real on a piano really quickly, and then Emre had written this beat that I really liked, and we put it to that beat, and then the synth that he'd also come up with, and it all came together in a day, and we just suddenly, it was such a different direction to the music we'd been making, and we all just really loved it. And then we had such a clear idea then of what we wanted the rest of Years and Years' music to sound like.
What was that clear idea?
I think it was kind of a fusion, if you will, of kind of an electronic production with kind of like a modern electronic production with kind of a more traditional songwriting, emotional kind of feel as well. Like, the two just seem to come together, and I think the beats that Emre was using had like a kind of sort of houseier feel, which was different to kind of what we've been making, and it felt like dance music was where we needed to be, but kind of not just sort of something that was a bit more emotional, had a bit more kind of heart than, club music.
Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
No, you said more heart. You write the lyrics yourself?
Yes.
How much do you give in your songs of your own life? Do you hold back, or do you... Because sometimes when you write heartful songs, and sometimes it's maybe too hard to be painfully honest, or...
Yeah, well, the songs, I feel like, that's a good question. I try and be as honest as possible, because the lyrics, no one will ever really know what the lyrics mean to me. And that's a good thing in a way, because I get to have my own meaning of the song, but also some of the lyrics are deliberately ambiguous so that people will take their own meaning from it. So even though a song, I will get inspired by a personal experience, and it might feel quite painful or close to the bone, once it becomes a song and it's gone through production and been recorded and then it's listened to by someone else, it becomes something completely different. It becomes like someone else's song, so it's kind of doesn't feel too kind of personal in that way, I think.
Is it does it help you? I mean, to sing your the painful stuff.
Yeah, the painful experiences. I guess so. It must do in a way. I think it's just kind of a way of experiencing things. I don't know. It's just my way of kind of experiencing the things that are happening to me. Does that make sense?
Do you want to talk about the lyrics or not, or is it just for you? People can make up their own mind.
No, we can talk. We can talk about the lyrics. Yeah.
Then I have a question, because you said, well, it is your own experience. Is there a song that you said, well, this is really a personal experience, but now it has been turned into a song, and someone listened to it and came up to me and said, well, for me this song means this, and it's different than what it is for you. Do you have an example of a song that would?
Yeah, actually, I think there's a song on our released as a B-side called Memo, which is going to be the album, and it's a slower song. And for me, that song's a really sad song, because I just wrote it like I was really like yearning for someone that's totally unrequited, and I just made up this fantasy, this like love fantasy. But it's some people kind of take a really kind of romantic, they take away like a really romantic side of the song, and they think it's really like romantic, and but for me it's for sad and very like pathetic. So yeah, that's kind of.
But can you once they said it, that it's for them it's more romantic side?
Yeah.
Can you then see it that way too? Or?
Sort of, yeah. Sometimes it's nice to be able to kind of have them be lots of different things. You know, that they don't have to. You know, I'm not going to suddenly say no, you're wrong. That's not what it's about. You know.
King is obviously your biggest hit to date.
Yes.
When you wrote that song, did you know this is it?
No, definitely not. Especially because King started off really differently. It's sort of quite rare in the fact that it went through lots of different transformations, lots of different phases before it got to its final one. Because we stopped playing it live because it wasn't working, and then we thought we were just going to leave it, but everyone said there was something good in the song. We all did think that. So then when we went back in the studio, and we just kind of rejigged the song around, and we took the chorus and then kind of like stretched out the chorus and made it all kind of dancier. And once we'd done that, we got excited. We thought it was gonna be a good song, but I don't think we thought it would be like our biggest hit. I don't really know.
Before it transformed into what it is now, what sort of song was it?
It had about 6 different sections in it, and it had a very down, kind of moody verse. We had like a heavy Rhodes on it, and then it had almost like a key change. What's the middle 8 in the current version was the pre-chorus, and then it went into the chorus, and then it had like a B section of the chorus, and then it went back down again, and it was very complicated. I used to write, I've gotten better at it, but I used to really write overly complicated songs. Yeah, so that's kind of what it's a little bit like.
How come?
How come? I mean, I think simplicity is always quite difficult to kind of. You always tend to like want to add more because you think, you know, that'll make the song better, or sometimes simplicity is very scary. You think it's too simple, and I don't know. But I think what I've learned from other songwriters and from my own process is simple is usually better.
The album is called Communion.
Yes.
When during the recording of the songs of the album, did you decide to call the album Communion? No,
we decided to call it Communion after all the songs had been done, because all the song titles had, it seemed like they all had a bit of a religious sound to them, through kind of I'm not religious, there's no deliberate religiousness in it, and also all the songs are kind of about relationships or sex, so it just felt like Communion, like very neatly tied up all those things.
Then my last question.
Yes.
Well, you've been labelled next big thing, sound off, the BBC sound off, and all this stuff. Do you like this, or don't you like this, or do you care, do you don't care, or?
I think mostly I like it because it's been such a positive thing for us. Like it's really, you know, no one really knew who we were before this year, sorry. And since the sound poll, and since, you know, we have been kind of talked about, people have come to our shows and like bought the single, and, you know, it's given us a platform that we didn't have. So I think I'm just mostly grateful for all those things that happened. But also, I think it's been important for us to just sort of not kind of take too much notice of it, because it can, I think, we had a way of like doing things, and like we had our own process of making the music and making the videos and whatever, and we didn't want that to change just because suddenly it felt like there was a lot more pressure to become the next big thing. You just have to kind of go, that's really nice, thank you, and then try and slightly forget about it.
And what about acting now?
Acting, I haven't done any acting for a couple of years, and I probably won't do it anymore for a while, but maybe one day I'll go back to it. Yeah.
Thank you for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, it was fun.